Okay, we're going to go fast. These are just philosophical questions that Griff, take the lead, and if someone else wants to jump in, go. Do guns protect people or kill people?
Kill.
Will racism cease to exist?
Yes.
Why is beauty associated with morality?
Because people are stupid.
Why do we respect the dead more than the living?
Because we believe that dead people are all-knowing.
Does God have a supreme power?
No, we all do.
Will the world be a better place if religion would cease to exist?
He pauses, drops his neck, like, no.
Okay. What is the meaning of true love?
Unconditional, vulnerable.
What's more important, doing the right thing or doing things right?
Doing things right.
Good. Do we love ourselves more in the virtual world and less in the real world? So do you love yourself more where you are than you did when you were here?
Way easier to love yourself in the virtual world.
Okay. Is humanity doomed to head in a destructive direction?
Doomed. He says, what do you mean by doomed? Like, it has to happen?
Yeah. Like do things have to fall apart to be put together?
It seems to be the learning curve so far.
Okay.
So for now, he says, I will say yes.
Yeah. I guess doomed is too heavy of a word. Let's just say that a lot of times the process of things getting better, they almost have to fall apart first.
Deconstruct to be
Right.
reconstructed. Yes.
Okay. Should full access to the internet be a fundamental right?
Yes.
Is peace the only way to stop war?
No.
Can memories be erased?
On Earth or over there?
Both. Do both. Here I know they can because you can get a disease that you can't remember.
Yes, but he's answering it as erased at free will.
Okay.
And he's saying, yes, the brain is electrical.
Okay.
And you already on Earth have figured out how to manipulate it. It's just not published yet. And in this manipulation, we can regrow parts of your system to be better if they have a disease or an illness, and we can eliminate and let go or shut down parts of the brain.
Right. And also, I don't know if I'm on the same wavelength as you are, Griff, but also if you can recognize that you're having a thought, if you can recognize you're having a thought, it's who's recognizing that you're having a thought. Does that make sense? Am I saying it right? Like you can, if
He
you
says
can, you
you're
can control.
Yeah.
You can control your thoughts more than you think you can, more than you give yourself credit for, because you aren't your thoughts. You're actually observing your thoughts. And if you can control the observer, you can say, thanks for that thought, thanks for coming, but go away.
Yeah, he agrees to that. He goes, but I was actually looking at full on, I'm going to go into a store and say, hey, dude, get rid of that memory. And he says they can do that. It's kind of sloppy right now. In the future, it won't be so sloppy, but yes.
Oh my God, Griff, I have some memories I'd love for you to erase for me.
He said in the afterlife, it's very interesting that I want or I don't want sensation, how you groom yourself to be better or to avoid something that's at risk. He says, show it to me because it's not here. We exist in what is. So that judgment of good, bad, that's not working for me anymore. He says it doesn't really exist.
Is the closest thing to that on the human plane, what Jamie mentioned before? I've watched her talk about it. I don't know what it's called, Jamie. Your center, it has a,
Shushumna,
yes. Is that
the
the
neutral
closest thing?
line.
Is that the closest thing that we have to it?
Um,
Or a good example of it?
it's a good example of it. Yes.
Okay. If we could
Where,
exist in that, that's beautiful.
yes. Or I'm going to get embarrassed just for a second. So I'll just do this, like just
Okay.
pretend like I'm not here.
Okay.
He says, or you can find a way to stay in the moment of a climax. And he says, at that point, nothing else, like you have no judgment in the world. It is absolute bliss. It is happiness. It is everything at once. It's fleeting. But imagine
Yes.
you could just stretch that. And he goes, I'm talking about stretching the mental and the emotional part of it. The physical stretching, that'd be amazing, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, honey, I know you're my son and I shouldn't talk to you like this, but I've had some of those where, like, if the world came in, I wouldn't even care. I'm finishing.
I love
Nothing,
you.
nothing else mattered. And there's no feeling like that, Griff. There's actually women that have that. I heard of women that have that like spontaneously, like it's a problem, like they've got to go to the doctor. And I'm like, what the hell kind of problem is that? I could live with that problem, but they just have them like one after another, like by themselves. It was on 60 Minutes or something crazy.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm not kidding. I'm like, of all the conditions, I get bronchitis. Why can't I get that? You know what I mean? I mean, can you imagine the smile? The lady said she was exhausted though when she gets home sometimes. She said
I
it's
bet it
not as fun as you think, she said.
burns out everything physically. If you could
Yes,
do it mentally and emotionally, that'd be a nice bliss high, but
she can't stop it. Like it's a condition. She doesn't need a partner. She doesn't need anything. She did
Griffin
it
is
for the camera.
Griffin is talking to everybody. He says, "My mother is so respectful. She's not laughing at all."
Well, my mom, well, never mind, mom. I'm not going to sell you out. I love you, mom. Okay, so I come from a very sexual family. Let's just put it that way. Okay, what is human consciousness?
He said, in its awake state, it is the collection and collaboration of your energy put to knowledge and experience. He does his hands like this.
So we basically, our body is just fluids. And when we leave, our consciousness leaves.
Mhm. He says, yes.
Okay. Okay. So why do we, um, why do we do things we don't like to do? I don't. Okay.
He's reusing an answer. He says, because you're stupid.
Exactly.
Because you have a belief system around it that if you don't follow through, that something worse would occur. That if you were to stand up and say who you really were and what you really wanted, that it would be shamed and you would have guilt and feel terrible about it. He says it's all based on stupid judgment stuff, careless judgment beliefs.
Right. I love Gary V on
Careless?
IG. Gary
What's
V
that?
on IG. Gary V, he's like a motivational guy on IG, Instagram, and he cusses a lot, but I really love him because he says like your 20s should be. He has a lot of the same thinking that my mom said one time about you know how we do things because our parents told us to go to school and do this, and then all of a sudden we're an accountant, but we really want to swim with dolphins and research dolphins, you know what I'm saying? But we just spent all the money our parents gave us to go to school to be an accountant. It's 20s is like should be for messing up, you know, and then 30 and he was just saying like if you don't love what you're doing, stop. Quit. Like don't do what your parents told you. That's fine. Just go, don't be an accountant. Don't go do what you love. If you don't love what you're doing, stop doing what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. He said you should love what you're doing. Period.
I keep seeing lights move behind your head, but I haven't been able to catch them yet. It's like all around my peripheral vision of you.
Who is it?
Well, every now and then I can tell it's maybe a car if you have a window in front of you, like just
Windows.
something move by it. But then there's a very tiny light, and that's not a car.
Okay.
I just did it again. It moved up and around you like a little halo thing.
Oh, I need all the angels I can get. Halo on. Okay, so halo on. Okay. So if judgment is for God, why do we pass judgment?
So he is pretending to cough, but at the same time saying bullshit.
Okay.
You know that bullshit.
Right?
God does not judge.
Okay.
That is a total misconception. There's no judgment in God. Judgment happens only on the earthly plane, only with your brains, and you think it's a way of being better and learning from your mistakes.
Okay.
Not true.
Okay. Can religious beliefs affect scientific thinking?
He said yes. That's a good one. I had to think about that for a little bit.
Me
But
too.
he
Is
said,
yeah, go ahead.
he said to clarify that um, when you believe in something and you can have an effect on the equation of what science is doing, and you can alter the results.
Hmm.
So that's why he says, yes, belief is that strong.
I I believe that because even though we don't believe in karma, Griffin, we're not going to call it karma,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. Is that all checks and balances are served on earth, and I do feel that manifestation right now is at an all-time fast level. Like I see things happen, like I'm like, okay, God, you can back off now. That's enough. Like you'll see somebody do something, and the payment or whatever you want to call it here, there's a big turnover happening real fast right now. I feel, and I feel that um, in light of what you're saying, Griffin, that as a human being, anything that you want to manifest is possible. If you put the thought out there, it's already exists. You just have to go get it. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.